Just got a job at Nintendo Mobile Division. I was instructed in creating a brand new mobile game for Nintendo, and they left me the guidelines right here. Make sure it is an RPG with bad loot drops, microtransactions, and cute anime girls. Make sure to spend at least 5 minutes making the plot. If it seems too time consuming, just make another port. Making a brand new game seems too time consuming. Let's just make a port. What game do people want to see? Hey, do people still remember Mario is missing?
Ah, mobile games. The quick way to make friends with that 8-year-old who asks if you have games on your phone. They're being pumped out all the time. You want a mobile racing game? You got it. You want an open world game? You better believe we have it. A game about milking realistic cows? You fucking know it. With mobile games being so popular, it was only a matter of time before big game companies started making mobile games of their own. More games have been developed by companies such as Ubisoft, Activision, Bethesda, and Blizzard. Yes, I do have a phone, but I'm not trying to play Diablo on it. Just let me play how fast can I type in my credit card details.
Done. Record time. What do you mean I spent $500 on Diablo Immortal?
It was only a matter of time until Nintendo made their own games for mobile phones. Today we'll be taking a look at some of them. Now we won't be counting Pokemon games since they're published by Game Freak, not Nintendo. And the 4 main ones we're going to be looking at are Super Mario Run, Animal Crossing Pocket Camp, Fire Emblem Heroes, and... I'm going to be rating these games on a scale of 1 to 5 mobile game stars, but provided that this rating scale is very ineffective for non-mobile games. Super Mario Run was announced at an Apple event by Miyamoto himself. It was supposed to be the crown jewel for Nintendo Mobile. It was going to revolutionize mobile gaming completely. It was alright. Now don't get me wrong, I think the core concept behind the game is great for mobile games. Its quick pickup and playstyle made it perfect for playing in quick bursts and was the only Mario game on mobile systems. But it cost $10.
How about I give you $5 to fuck off?
$10 isn't a lot of money, especially when you think of the amount of content you're getting from this game. But most people don't pay for mobile games, so that really hurt the amount of people that played it. If you don't count the people who pirated the game.
I just pirated Super Mario Run, and I'm the most wanted individual on the planet. FBI, open up!
Now getting rid of that, let's take a look at the game itself. In similar Mario fashion, it let you go through different kingdoms and complete different levels and save the princess. The only difference being that Mario runs on his own and you can only control his jumping, and you can't die from enemies. Now, while I think the automatic running was a great way of making the game easier on your phone, provided you can play with one hand, but the fact you couldn't die from enemies made the game extremely easy. You could pretty much complete the game in an hour, but there is some content left after you complete the world tour. There's the Toad Rally mode, which has you compete against someone else in a level in order to win the affection of as many Toads as possible, and it sounds like an erotic fanfiction. There's also Remix 10, which gives you another set of short courses to complete and be able to unlock Daisy. Mario, it's either Peach or Daisy, just choose one. And finally, there's the Kingdom Building mode, which completes my lifelong dream of being able to build a Mushroom King, and it's on fire. Now while I do think Super Mario Run wasn't as good as it should have been, with it borrowing the same style as the new Super Mario games and easy to complete levels, it was still a decent Mario game that did its job. So I am giving it 3 out of 5 stars. Animal Crossing Pocket Camp. Every kid's fantasy of being held prisoner by a talking raccoon. Now on your phone!
Listen man, I have $1 for rent. Please tell me that's enough. I don't want to do stuff for KK Slider, he's weird.
This was put out in an attempt to make up for the lack of Animal Crossing games in recent years. I mean, there was an Animal Crossing game for the Wii U, but...
It's a fucking war crime.
Pocket Camp was basically a watered down version of Animal Crossing that mostly didn't deviate from the core gameplay, with differences being that you take care of a campsite and not a town, and added compatibility to visit other people's camps. You go around and do jobs for other villagers, choose furniture for camps, go around collecting bugs and other items in order to sell for belts. I've never been a huge fan of Animal Crossing. I always found it boring and I couldn't play it for a long time, but I like Pocket Camp way more than other main series games. Now hear me out. Animal Crossing Pocket Camp being on my phone made it easier to play in short sessions, rather than have to spend an hour wondering why that eel hates me. Ease of access also made it great for more people to get into the series, and I think this was a really smart move by Nintendo that brought in some new fans of the series who would also want to play a later game. I really enjoy playing the game, it's so easy to come back to, and with Nintendo adding special events, it's sure to be a good time for all Animal Crossing lovers. I'm giving this game 4 out of 5.
Those anime guys from Smash Bros have their own game?
Fire Emblem Heroes was Nintendo's second mobile game, a bold one at that, with them deviating from a familiar face such as Mario to that motherfucker that keeps kicking your ass in Smash Online. Now Fire Emblem is a series that is adored by all of its fans, with the new game coming out every couple of years. It always seems to bring a new entry.
I wanna die.
Fire Emblem Heroes was a familiar take on the franchise, just changed around to accommodate for mobile devices, with the inclusion of microtransactions, which means you have to spend real money in order to get orbs, a currency that allows you to summon stronger characters for your party. I just spent $100 on cute anime girls. How's your day going? The game uses characters from the entire franchise and has you go completing quest after quest, with new ones being added frequently. There are currently over 700 story modes at this point. The gameplay has you use strategies in order to fight different enemies and be able to do it without losing any of your party members. Now the battles can be really easy or really hard, ranging from I just beat this without anybody dying to how did you do 0 damage 3 times in a row? Now I love RPGs, so Fire Emblem has always been a series I've deeply enjoyed and Heroes is no exception. While the fighting story isn't as in-depth as the main games, its fan service, great characters, and intense battles that actually make you think make it a great starting point for anyone who wants to get into the Fire Emblem series and is a great mobile game. Now there is one big factor that holds this game back, and it's the microtransactions. The orbs cost so much money for the little amount you get from it. The summons are RNG based, so that means you have to spend a lot of money trying to get good characters only to end up with nothing you want. The dependence the game has on the orbs can be a big turnoff for anyone who wants to play this game, and it's sad that a game with so much potential gets ruined by the microtransactions. All in all, I'm giving this game a 4 out of 5. The gameplay is great, but the microtransactions are a huge problem. Oh, so this is where the Fire Emblem money went. Dragalia Lost was the first original mobile game for Nintendo. It was their chance to kick off the best mobile game series of all time, make one of the best RPGs of recent years. I didn't like it. Now don't get me wrong, I think it was great of Nintendo to make an original series for mobile, and I think this game is decent as a standalone RPG. It just brings nothing new to the table. The game takes place in a land where humans have conflicts with dragons, but you're the very first person to be able to transform into one. You go through a whole adventure to get a shard for your kingdom and defeat dragons along the way. The main gimmick of this game is the fact that you can turn into a dragon and use different abilities in combat. Now this is where my problem with the game comes in. The combat is so boring. The ability to turn into dragons stay out through the first few times, and the moves you earn change very little about the combat at all. The plot of this game is also extremely generic and seems like a copy of every RPG made in the last 10 years, with some forgettable characters and half-baked story.
Why are there 5 of these blonde bitches?
Now I do admit there were some points where I enjoyed the gameplay and found that it had gotten interesting, but then the game just kept reusing it and it got stale again. Now this game was made for mobile, so it wouldn't be fair to judge it too harshly, but for an original Nintendo IP, I expected a lot better. I'm giving this game a 2 out of 5. Nintendo still has a long way to go until they make great mobile games, but if they stick with the Fire Emblem and Animal Crossing path, they can really make some great games for your phone.
Now that that's done, I can get back to making this mobile game. They left me another note. Me, Tomo. What does me, Tomo mean? Uh-oh.